What's up? This is ROH World Heavyweight Champion Cody Rhodes, and you're watching Ringmasters.
Alright, what's going on, everybody? My name is Austin. Welcome to the Ringmasters podcast. I hope everyone had a absolutely incredible Halloween. And I am joined here today with the Dean Ambrose to my Seth Rollins. I am here with Chad.
The great Chad, one half of the world's greatest podcasting team. And Austin, we have a special guest today.
Oh, we have a very special guest here. It is my wonderful little sister, Sydney. Sid, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
And she's just tense as all hell.
She also just got accepted into MSU, as I just found out.
Oh,
so
yeah.
props to that.
We were driving to the studio, and then she just checked her email and found that out. So
yeah,
nice little round.
Congratulations
of
for that.
Thank
Congratulations
you.
for that.
There you go. She is much smarter than me.
I was just gonna say she's way smarter than I could ever be.
But yeah, so this was a very interesting week in wrestling, more so for around the Michigan area, more so Mount Pleasant where we record this, because Ring of Honor had their first ever Soaring Eagle Cup at the Soaring Eagle Casino in Mount Pleasant, and our good friend Chad here had the fortunate ability to attend the show while me and my sister were out on vacation.
How was your vacation?
It was absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, I saw the Snapchat videos. It looked really fun.
It was a ton of, I ran into, last year we actually went to the same place. It was around Myrtle Beach. And last year, I ran into these two girls who were dressed up as the Mega Powers, which was awesome.
That is awesome.
And then this year, I ran into someone who was also dressed up as Macho Man Randy Savage, and someone else was Ric Flair. So there's always wrestling fans. And there was this guy who had an amazing Conor McGregor outfit, like legit, like buff. And he was even talking in the accent, too, which I was like, damn.
I wore jeans and a t-shirt and put on a leather jacket and went as Dean Ambrose. So it was a very easy costume to afford.
I managed to put on a red flannel and some jeans and t-shirts, carry around my guitar, and I was Ed Sheeran.
There you go.
I played Super Mario Odyssey.
There. So we all had a good Halloween.
Exactly.
But yeah, the Soaring Eagle Cup. I got there early because they were doing meet and greets, and as you could tell by the soundbite at the very beginning of the show, I was able to meet Cody Rhodes. Really nice guy. I was in line, and I was like really worried, like, oh, please don't be a jerk, like. But really nice guy.
Oh yeah.
Two-sweeted me, shook my hand, got a picture with me, and then I asked him if he could plug the podcast, and he actually had me sit down and hang out with him for 5 minutes while I waited for him to figure out what I wanted him to say. And he didn't have to do that at all. So Cody, there's no way you're watching this. But if by some reason you ever stumble upon this, and thank you. But yeah, the Soaring Eagle Cup, pretty good show. I think the crowd could have been a little better. They were giving a lot of tickets away, so I
got one of those tickets, so I gave them to your friends. Did your friends enjoy it?
Yeah, my friends did enjoy it. We had a lot of time. The friends I took have never seen a wrestling show, so
nice.
I was like, oh, well, come see this one. So we all sat down, and it started off with two just local guys, because whenever Ring of Honor does basically house shows, they bring in locals.
All right,
from other companies.
That's a lot of cool. That's a lot of cool
So
stuff.
they had two local talents that no one knew, and they were wrestling. And then all of a sudden, Jay Briscoe's music hits, he walks down to the ring, grabs a microphone, and says, "Who the hell are you two?" And then calls out how horrible. He was like, I came all the way here to Mount Pleasant, and we didn't even sell out.
Yeah.
And you guys want to see me? And he was he called us all piss ants, and then challenged the two to a match. It was a 1-on-2 handicap match, and he ended up losing by DQ because he took a chair and threw it at one of them.
Just tossed it.
Yeah.
That's great.
And then flipped off the crowd and walked down. So
well then.
It was funny. I laughed. I thought it was cool. That was just a preliminary, whatever. But then they had the first match of the Soaring Eagle Cup. It was Flip Gordon versus Dalton Castle. Mm-hmm. Really excited to see Dalton Castle. It's the first time I've ever seen Dalton Castle wrestle. So I was super excited. It was a pretty good match. It was Flip Gordon. He did all of his flips.
Yeah.
Dalton Castle ended up going over with the bangarang, and then afterwards he got to the turnbuckle and did a cup motion and pretended to drink from the cup. So that was cool. The next match was Frankie Kazarian and Jay White. Jay White's from Detroit, so
sweet.
It was the hometown hero.
There you go.
Kazarian won.
Of course.
In typical heel fashion, Kazarian won. And Kazarian had a lot of boos. I mean, he was playing up the heels because he was playing the hometown guy.
Oh yeah.
I think I was the only guy in the crowd not cheering for Jay White.
Really?
And I was like, "Let's go White!" Then you see me go, "Let's go Kazarian!" I was the one guy not rooting for Jay White.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kazarian went over. It was a decent match. There was no bad match on this card.
I would have figured, yeah.
I think the matches could have been a lot better if the crowd was a little bit more into it. It was like the first like 3 rows like of hardcore fans like cheering, and then there was like my row who are people getting really into it, and everybody else is kind of like sitting on their hands, which kind of sucked. I felt bad for the performers.
Oh, I felt terrible because like that's the thing is just like because I went to go get the free tickets and I was like because obviously I was like oh god they're not selling out and like that just made me feel bad because I don't feel like those guys deserve it and I'm like when you're in a town like Mount Pleasant where it's kind of like separated off a little bit from the rest of Michigan and it's harder to find like a lot of fans that would be willing to drive that far especially from Detroit because like just from Detroit is like close to 3-4 hours I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I was just like, man, and then it bummed me out because I'm like, oh man, if they don't sell out, they're probably not gonna come back. But thankfully, I saw Cody tweet out like, "Don't worry, we will be back."
Well, I mean, I know my friend said that. I don't think Cody would say on Twitter, "This crowd sucks and we're never coming back."
Granted,
but I am hopeful. It wasn't like the area was empty. Like they almost sold out. There were a few empty seats here and there. But yeah, I could see them coming back. They seemed, I mean, when Cody said they'd be back, it seemed pretty genuine. And, you know, at Michigan's Brandy's hometown, so I could see Brandy being like, no, come back. But, what was next? So the biggest pop of the night came when Jay Lethal came out. Jay Lethal wrestled.
Obviously.
It was Jay Lethal versus Matt Taven. And I hate Matt Taven.
Oh, really?
Like, if there was any wrestler who was a heel that I genuinely do not like, it's Matt Taven. So, Jay Lethal comes out, huge pop, and then Matt Taven comes out to just a sea of boos.
Sweet.
And,
So was this the match that you think everyone was into the most?
Until the intermission, yeah, because there was an intermission. But yeah, so Matt Taven, this was the second most into match of the intermission. But so Matt Taven comes out, Jay Lethal comes out. It's a really, really good match. Jay Lethal was so over with the Mount Pleasant crowd. There was Black Machismo chants. Like, it was awesome. He did a Macho Man elbow from the top rope.
That's great.
It was awesome. Matt Taven went over, which I was really surprised by. Just a sea of boos. Like,
damn.
Oh, I was like, there's no way Jay Lethal does not go over. They're in Mount Pleasant. There's no way they don't put him over. And I was like thinking about who, because it was a fatal 4-way at the end to decide the cup. And at that point, it had been Dalton Castle and Kazarian. And I was like, I don't see Taven getting that spot. I thought for sure it was going to be Jay Lethal.
Yeah.
Especially because I knew the next match, and I just knew it would make way more sense for Jay Lethal to be there. However, Taven goes over, see a booze. Matt Taven did like a crying motion to the fans, and like he actually ended up doing something during the intermission, and I'll touch on that when we get to it. But,
all right.
Really good match. And then the match I got super into, it was the final qualifying match, Christopher Daniels versus Cody Rhodes.
Damn.
And, you know,
Same.
I was worried that they weren't going to put Cody Rhodes over because he was the champion. However, after I saw Taven go over, I was like, there's no way Cody doesn't go over. They're not going to make Dalton Castle the only babyface. So, Cody Rhodes, Daniels, awesome match. Crowd were into this too. I think it's just because it was like just Cody Rhodes, because everybody was like pro Cody, like as you would. You know, there were 2 sweets in the air. There were like, too sweet, whoop whoop, too sweet. All the Bullet Club chants. You know, Cody was up there. Great show. It was awesome. And ended up going the full 15-minute time limit and ended in a draw.
Damn.
So then Cody grabs a microphone and he was basically like, you know, I'm the world heavyweight champion, damn it. And if I say this match is going to restart, it's going to restart. So I thought, oh, okay, it's going to restart and he's going to beat him. And then Daniel says, listen, I'm not restarting unless I get a championship match. Like, next time I wrestle you, it's for the championship. And Cody's like, you want a championship match? I'll put it on the line. And then, so I thought we were going to get a championship match between Daniels and Cody. Crowd cheers. And then Daniels is like, these people don't deserve a title match. And I'm going to fight you when I'm ready, not 5 minutes after a match expires. So, like, he, like, tells everybody to eat a Diz. That's, like, what he says. And then, like, walks to the back. And then Cody was like, you know, Cody is like, well, it looks like I'm not going to go over the cup. But damn it, you people wanted to see a title match. So he calls in, he introduces his family. And I don't know if it was Brandy's like little sister or like a cousin, but there was like this little girl, her name was Emily. She was like 9. And he calls Emily into the ring and everyone's chanting, let's go, Emily. And then he says, all right, so we're going to see a ROH World Championship match right here. So he gives the belt to the referee and he lays down and Emily pins him. Huge crowd erupts. Like Emily, like he posed with the belt. I was kind of hoping he'd be like, I don't do the job for no one, and then roll her up. That would have been funny. I was really
Cody
hoping.
Rhodes rolls up a 9-year-old.
Yeah, I was the only
to
one.
retain the Ring of Honor championship.
I was the only one in attendance that really wanted that to happen.
That would have been hysterical.
I would have died.
I bet if he was a heel, he would have absolutely done that.
But so yeah, he lets this little girl pin him, and he like holds her hand up, the crowd cheers, and then she leaves the ring. He's like, Emily, you forgot your belt, and then gives her the belt and like sits back with the belt. And Cody was meeting people before the show started, and the line got cut off because the show was starting. So he was like, for all of intermission, I'm gonna be back at my booth. Anyone who didn't get the chance to meet me, come meet me. So he actually got to meet with every single person that wanted to meet him originally.
I love that. That's what I love the most about those indie guys is that they're so thankful for the fans that do come and show their support for those guys. That they're willing to be there for every single person. There
was another guy who surprised everybody because he wasn't advertised to be there, but he did a meet and greet. Bully Ray.
Really?
And I met him.
Oh.
After intermission, my phone was dead, so I couldn't get the soundbite of Bully, which I was really hoping I could get.
Did you? I'd imagine you didn't get a picture either.
I didn't get a picture, but I did get an autograph. He had little cutouts of himself too that he signed.
Sweet.
Nice. And I told him how the first wrestling match I ever watched was the TLC triple threat between him, Edge, and Christian and the Hardy Boys. So like that was a really cool story. He like fist pumped me, and really nice guy.
Oh yeah.
I wish I could have gotten a soundbite of him being like, "We want tables and Ringmasters podcast." But I didn't get it, but that's fine. I was on my way back from meeting Bully Ray. Matt Taven is at the merch booth.
Oh.
And he started saying, if I wanted to go to the good school, I would have went inside. We would have performed for Western.
Oh!
And huge heat. Everyone starts booing this man.
He's just all
who's
over
on
him.
the merch table saying like, "Go Broncos!" Like, row the boat.
And that's crazy too, because tonight is the Western Michigan game.
Well, it's just crazy that he had to look that up. Like, the fact that he looked that up, I think is cool.
Yeah, the fact that he was like, "Who are Central's rivals?"
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that shows like true dedication to being a heel.
And then he also said Ohio State was like the best, which also got heat.
Get those Michigan fans riled up.
And he's like on the merch booth, like just standing on the merch booth. So like everyone's looking up at him, like just booing him, and
he's just working them.
Yeah, and it was during intermission, and it actually made me like him a little bit more because I was like, that was great heel work, and I don't see any other heel doing this right now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So that was really cool. So then after intermission, Silas Young comes out, gets in the ring, and he says, since Cody and Daniels couldn't get the job done, I asked if I could get a qualifying match. So Silas Young, and then Cheeseburger's his opponent. and Cheeseburger's like this like scrawny like underdog of ROH. Gets beaten all the time. But he's like that lovable underdog. So everybody's like, Cheeseburger! And Silas Young, who like calls himself the last real man, he's also a heel. So I was thinking about who's in the match, and I was like, Dalton Castle, Kazarian, Taven. Are we going to see Cheeseburger in this match?
That'd be insane.
That's weird. But no.
Of course not.
Cheeseburger did indeed lose. So the final four of the match were Silas Young, Matt Taven, Kazarian, and Dalton Castle. Obviously, at this point, I'm pro Dalton Castle. I'm like, oh, come on, Peacock, you can do it. And then we had an impromptu triple threat tag team match for the ROH tag team titles. Mm-hmm. And it was this new team of Rhett Titus and this other guy. I am drawing a blank on his name, but they called themselves the Dogs. And their whole gimmick was they hated each other. They would like fight each other while they're in the ring. Like
That's great.
They were like Irish whipping each other into like their opponents, and like one would like punch a bunch of people and try and punch like their tag team partner. They were really entertaining.
That's great.
And then they ended up and then Bullet Club's music hits, and I'm like, oh, the Young Bucks, because I knew the Young Bucks were there, but it was actually only one Young Buck and Adam Page.
I saw on Twitter, I don't remember which other Young Buck it was.
I think it was Matt.
Matt, yeah, because Matt, it was like he hadn't been home for 5 years in a row to see his daughter, and they let him
for her birthday.
Yeah, for her birthday. So they let him go home to see that,
which was cool.
Yeah, so, everyone on Twitter, because I saw that before the show, and everyone on Twitter was like, "Dude, go see your kid. Like, we're fine.
We're just Mount Pleasant." Like,
exactly. Like, dude, this isn't like something like this isn't like Wrestle Kingdom or anything like that.
And I still got to see 2/3 of the Hung Bucks, so I'm okay with that.
Oh yeah.
So and Adam Page did a meet and greet too, and he was really nice.
Sweet.
I heard someone tell him like, "Oh, I'm glad they found you," because like that whole gimmick, and he's like, "Oh, I'm glad they found me too," and then someone brought him a box of Pop-Tarts, and he like signed this dude like like. But yeah, so 2/3 of the Hung Bucks, Adam Page and Nick Jackson. the Dogs, and then the Motor City Machine Guns music hits because they're the ROH Tag Team Champions.
There you go.
So huge pop because of the Motor City Machine Guns.
Of course.
I was also torn on this because I love the Machine Guns, but I also love anything to do with Bullet Club.
Of course.
But also the Dog Tag Team was really entertaining. In my opinion, this was match of the night. It was great. But this is one of those things where, like, the crowd was dead for it. And I was so upset. Like, I tried to get a "this is awesome" chant because it was awesome. No, nothing. I tried to get some Bullet Club chants, nothing. We were able to get a Young Bucks chant for a bit and some Machine Gun chant for a bit. But for the most part, the crowd were, like, sitting on their hands for this. And I think it's because it was right after intermission and people were, like, still moseying on back. But I was bummed because I thought this was the best match of the night. It ended with a 5-person super kick party.
Fun.
And then the Machine Guns going over and keeping their titles. And then the main event, the Fatal 4-Way. It was actually a Fatal 4-Way elimination match for the Mount Pleasant Cup. Dalton Castle ended up going over. Mm-hmm. He annihilated all the heels with bangerangs. And then he gets a microphone, and people were starting "You deserve it!" And that went on for like 3 minutes. And then he grabs the microphone and says, "You bet your sweet balls I deserve it." And everyone starts chanting. And he says, because for those of you who don't know, he calls himself the Peacock. So he says, "I guess I'm top cock now." And they got a top cock chant started, and it was really funny.
Wonderful.
He basically, said, if the wrestlers in the back had as much fun as I did, then I will definitely be back. He thanked the crowd. I thought it was a little modest. I don't think we were that good of a crowd. But Dalton said it was a great crowd. Cody ended up coming back, or ended up saying too, they usually don't like when I talk for too long, but I'm the champ, so damn it, I'm going to talk. And he also thanked the crowd and said we were an unbelievable crowd. So I'm hopeful they're back. Dalton had the cup and then said he was going to leave it here. And he put it in the middle of the ring and said, "So now anytime you guys come to Soaring Eagle Casino, you can look at the cup and remember all the fun we had and how we tore the house off the casino."
Yeah.
And he tried to get the guy who owns the casino to come out and thank him, but he didn't come out. Which I thought that was kind of a douchey move.
Yeah, it's like he came out. They were trying to thank you for the opportunity to perform there.
Yeah,
and you want to build a good relationship with that promoter, so that way you can actually go and come back.
Apparently, Ring of Honor didn't even ask to do this. Apparently, the Soaring Eagle Casino reached out to them and said, "Hey, do you want to come do a show here?" And they thought of the whole concept for the cup. So that was really cool that the Soaring Eagle reached out to them. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And so I'm hopeful they'll be back because I would love to watch Ring of Honor from my hometown.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think they will. But yeah, so he ended up not taking the cup home. He left it there. But the next day he tweeted out a picture of him drinking a mimosa and said, "I'm gonna drink a mimosa from this cup to celebrate him winning the cup." So that was pretty cool. Oh, he said, "I'm gonna leave this here, and then next year I'm gonna come back and win it again." So that was cool.
Yeah.
All in all, really good show. I loved it. But yeah, so that was the Soaring Eagle Cup, and good show.
Yeah, I'm still very jealous that I was not able to attend it. It does sound like a lot of fun. Props to them to come out to some place like Mount Pleasant.
Yeah,
because
I was the entire time I was thinking that.
Yeah, because when I found out that they were gonna be performing at Soaring Eagle, I was like, wow, really? It's not even a town that you would mention to someone and they'd be it's not even one of those towns you would mention to a Michigander and they'd be able to point it out on their hand.
Yeah.
It's the only reason people know it is Central Michigan. But man, it was wow, I can't believe they're actually coming. And it was just definitely I feel like it would have been a lot better. I feel if the crowd did get into it, at least you got the hardcore fans who did get into it. But I feel with that in mind, though, that there are hardcore fans that are there, I'm hopeful for the fact that they would come back because I would absolutely pay money to go see them and meet Cody and all those guys.
If they do come back next year, I'm shelling out ringside tickets, though.
Yeah.
Because I was not nearly as close as I would have liked to be. I wanted to throw streamers in the crowd. I wanted to get super into it.
Oh, yeah.
So next year, I'm shelling out.
You wanted someone thrown into the barricade for you and just feel it move.
For sure.
Yeah. Ringside's just an unbelievable thing. But yeah, me and Cindy actually are currently we're on high hopes because our parents are incredibly generous. Where after our senior years of high school, they allowed us to have a vacation with the family where we got to choose wherever we wanted to go.
And it's my graduation, and my mom actually brought up the fact that, Well, I mean, you can go anywhere. You can do anything you want. It's all up to you. And then she mentions WrestleMania.
And she mentions New Orleans. So
Well-
there might be a possibility that we get the chance to go to New Orleans for WrestleMania.
Well, that's funny you mentioned that because I bought my WrestleMania ticket.
Did you?
Yeah,
Sweet.
I was gonna wait and mention it off record, but yeah, so I'm going.
All right.
So if we
Nice.
go, we can definitely do something.
For sure, yeah.
Absolutely.
So
But yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what we're gonna do. Like, if we're gonna
Right.
be able to attend any of the other shows there.
well, I already bought my tickets for Progress, Ring of Honor, Impact, CZW, and ICW, and Joey Janela's Spring Break.
Jeez.
So I'm going to all those shows. Oh, and the NXT before.
Oh, NXT Takeover.
Yeah. So I'm going to all those shows. I'm going to be watching more wrestling than I probably will ever do in my life. I'm actually more excited for those independent shows than the actual WrestleMania card.
Yeah, exactly. We haven't really
But,
heard too much
yeah.
still about the WrestleMania card. So eventually they'll probably win us over with that.
But hopefully we can get Ringmasters in New Orleans.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty sweet.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, the
so-
only thing is we wouldn't be able to do Monday Night Raw or SmackDown because
That's okay, I can.
I still have school
Yeah.
because
Well-
I get out of school in May. So
Well, if I do the Raw and SmackDown, I can bring my stuff and we can Skype afterwards and send that to the podcast.
Totally,
Or we'll just
totally.
send Grant with us, and Grant can come to New Orleans with us, and we can just
Grant,
have him.
how do you feel about a trip
There-
to New Orleans?
there we go.
There you go.
But while we're on the subject of WrestleMania, let's break down Raw and SmackDown for the week.
Yeah, Raw and SmackDown.
I
which-
watched so much of it.
By so much, he means absolutely none
I
of it.
watched not 1 minute, but luckily they did.
Yeah,
so.
that's why I'm here and why she's here.
Yay.
So we opened up with Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle brought out the entire Raw roster, talking about how we're gonna make sure we take down SmackDown Live after what they did to us. The crowd was being real assholes because they started a what chant
Are
immediately.
they from
I
Mount,
was
are they
very
from- were
annoyed.
they the Mount Pleasant crowd?
No, they were not. No, did Mount Pleasant do what chants?
There was a CM Punk chant a couple times.
Oh, come
and
on!
It was during the Kazarian match, and I got really mad.
Yeah, seriously, why are we still on that?
Yeah.
I say this week after week, just knock it off and
Yeah.
get over it.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of annoying.
No
but,
kid, did you? I mean, if I was at the indie show, I would have just stood up and just went "Shut up!"
Well, they started a CM Punk chant, so then I started screaming "This is awesome!" just to try
There
to
you
drown
go.
it out,
There
and
you
that
go.
picked up because everybody heard the marks shouting CM Punk, so then the hardcore started chanting "This is awesome" too.
That's
So
awesome.
I was able to beat a CM Punk chant.
Thank
at the
God,
show,
yeah, thank God
so.
you had some fans that were willing to back you up with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Stephanie McMahon ends up returning to Monday Night Raw.
They had 7 returns, didn't they?
I think it was how many?
I think it was. I don't think it was 7. I
don't
think it was 4.
At least 4 or 5.
At
I
least
feel
4 or
returned.
5.
So Stephanie comes out and they even mentioned the viral infection. And then they also mentioned that January 22nd is the 25th anniversary of Monday Night Raw, which will be emanating from both the Barclays Center and the Manhattan Center,
That's so
the
dumb.
site of the original Monday Night Raw.
What I
it's
heard-
kind of they haven't done the multiple arena thing.
It's gonna be
in
so
forever.
terrible.
What I heard was the Barclays Center was going to be a normal Raw and with the normal Raw and SmackDown superstars for some reason.
Well, it's a big
And-
anniversary show.
Yeah,
so.
and then the one in Manhattan was going to have Legends and I think they said a couple dream matches of Legends facing each other. But I did
The
hear
dream match of
I
Kevin
heard-
Nash versus Shawn Michaels.
Ew.
I heard there was going to be Taker, Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash.
Those are the only ones that they
That
mentioned.
they
I don't want to see
mentioned.
any of these old guys
No.
moving in the The Undertaker. Don't get me wrong. I love The Undertaker. He's the goddamn man. But do I want to see 60-year-old Undertaker who just had hip surgery,
Yeah.
can barely move?
Especially after he had such an amazing moment
Yeah.
at WrestleMania
Like,
33.
I
It's
don't know.
can
Stay
we
at home.
Yeah, exactly. Can't we have Hunter wrestle?
Is Ric Flair wrestling next? Are we gonna have Ric Flair?
Ric Flair
and
wrestle
Bubba the
after-
Love Sponge?
Ric Flair wrestle after he almost died.
Yeah, where's the line here? Are we bringing back Greg the Hammer Valentine? I don't know. I'm totally against that idea.
Let's bring back Santino.
I would rather see him
God.
than the Undertaker.
So the best part about this little opening promo was, yay, we get more heel Stephanie, and yay, the Raw versus SmackDown is once again just the McMahons infighting. It's
Yeah.
just that's my least favorite thing about the McMahons. While I do enjoy Shane, and while I do feel like Stephanie is legitimately hateable as a heel, the McMahon infighting is just it's been done so many times that it's just we get it, you hate each other, shut up.
Well, I heard a rumored Mania match is going to be Angle and Triple H.
Ooh.
So I could see, Raw not winning, them firing Kurt, and then Triple H coming back. I don't want to see that. I think Jason Jordan versus Angle's your money match.
I feel like that would be a good match too.
If Jason Jordan never turns heel.
Yeah, exactly. If they pull the trigger on him. But yeah, so Kurt Angle names himself the Raw team captain. Stephanie named him. Yeah, and Steph's like, if you don't win, like we can find another general manager. So yeah. So I'm okay. I mean, it's kind of crazy now that we're getting Kurt in the ring again right after the last pay-per-view.
I gotta crank out them dream matches.
Gotta get that out of there. Yeah, exactly. But then after that, The Miz ends up showing up fashionably late. Kurt's pissed off already because he's like, he got chewed out by Stephanie. And he's like, listen, your IC title's on the line tonight because you didn't help us when we were under siege. And yeah, so you're facing whoever I bring out there. And I just want to let everyone know, because I just showed Chad this before we went on. It was the Twitter exchange between The Miz and Baron Corbin, who are set to face off at Survivor Series. Baron Corbin cutting his SmackDown Live promo Under Siege, going after The Miz, and mentioning his wife, and then Miz just completely murdering him. And then Corbin once again goes back at him, and it's like congratulations on your daughter. It's like, it's gonna be amazing when she gets to look up to you for the first time and call you daddy. Just like it's gonna be the same thing when you look up at me and call me daddy.
Big Daddy Corbin.
Exactly. I just showed Chad that. So how do you feel so far about this rivalry? I
was pretty cold on this. And that's only because there were two heels. They're both really good at being heels. And for a WWE style thing, it usually need a heel and a baby face. Those promos, that could sell the feud, but they need to put those on their and I didn't see the show, so they might have put those up for people to see.
No, they mentioned it, but
they need to show those, because if they show them on TV, that will sell the feud.
Michael Cole talked about it.
Yeah,
that's all we got. Yeah.
So they should show those. I really think that would sell it, because I was interested a little bit more after seeing that. I think Baron Corbin's kind of god awful at cutting promos.
Would you rank him among the Roman Reigns?
I think that Grant's little mini skateboard there could probably deliver a better promo than Baron Corbin. That's just my opinion. I don't think he's the big daddy at promo cutting, but and I think The Miz is untouchable on the mic.
Oh, absolutely.
And I've been a fan of The Miz back when he was teaming with John Morrison. So
that was great.
The Miz is my boy
with the dirt sheets.
Oh yeah, The Miz is my boy. So I'm very much pro Miz on this. But if they can keep up this war of words and actually put that on TV for people to see, I think the feud could be really good.
I feel like if they could do something like have one of them via satellite into Miz calls out Corbin on Raw on Miz TV, via satellites himself in, and then they start having a war of words back at each other. I feel like that would be a good way to sell it, because then at least you're having a legitimate confrontation from Raw and SmackDown, because other than that, you're just mentioning each other from your own safety of your own show.
And I know it won't happen, but it'd be really cool if they could get Maurice to take a bump.
While she's pregnant. Oh, God.
Baron Corbin just kicked her in the stomach. Well, God.
At that point, we're getting to Lita pregnant levels, where she was pregnant with Kane's child.
I'd be very much down for them to do that one spot where Triple H busts into Randy Orton's house. Can you imagine if they did that thing where Baron Corbin busts into Miz's Hollywood mansion, even though it's some shack in Toledo, and the Miz Taraj are there, and he beats them up, and then Maurice just escapes. I think that'd be a cool way to get heat.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they have a definite chance to actually do something good with this.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of, if you're doing it with promos, make sure both guys are cutting legitimate promos.
Well, it's not even that Baron Corbin had it wasn't a bad promo.
No, not at all.
Miz was right. Those are the best promos Baron's ever done. We should just put them on TV so people can see them.
But yeah, Sid, I want to get Sid's opinion on this too. What are you looking in terms of the Survivor Series card that we have, in terms of everything? What are you really thinking about all this kind of stuff?
I'm thinking it's a little disappointing that so far there's so far when we were watching Raw, there were no titles up for the line. They're all just Raw versus SmackDown, which is kind of worthless. Just the whole, again, like you said, infighting with the McMahons. And I mean, I was excited for it at first, but I'm just not a huge fan with Kurt Angle immediately coming back to wrestle after that. Even though he wasn't meant to at the last pay-per-view, I still am really like, it's not as big of a deal as... And that was what everyone was worried about the next time he was going to wrestle. It wasn't going to be as big of a deal. And then, like, just... I don't feel like Raw has the superstars against SmackDown. I feel like for SmackDown, they would... If it was actually, like, based on how well they wrestled... I feel like SmackDown would win hands down.
I disagree with you wholeheartedly because...
I think Braun Strowman
Braun Strowman.
Especially with the fact that Braun Strowman returned and was announced as the first team member for Raw. Raw's untouchable at this point because they've got guys like Braun Strowman.
He cheated death.
Exactly.
He lifted up a garbage truck.
He's cheated death at least 2 times now.
Yeah.
And not to mention that Samoa Joe was back out of nowhere with no entrance whatsoever. He's just like, yo, I'm back. And it's like, I haven't missed any of you guys because apparently you guys missed me.
And can I just say they really dropped the ball on a super babyface turn for Samoa Joe?
Really? How do you feel so?
Well, I mean, like, that crowd was super into Samoa, and they're going to be into Samoa Joe regardless. Like, Samoa Joe's going to get cheered.
Of course.
But, like, I don't know. I think, the move would have been to have Samoa Joe be like, I'm back. And I really think a babyface Samoa Joe was the call there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like he's just such a good heel in general. And, like, since he's kind of being... I feel like he's groomed to be, like, the authorities guy. Because that's how he was before he left. Mm-hmm. I think they're still going to keep going with that whole storyline. But,
his whole thing is, like, he's Triple H's buddy, like, doing all of his dirty work, like facing Roman Reigns and whatever, facing Seth Rollins.
Which is weird, though, because then Apollo Crews and Titus O'Neil came out, and Apollo took the challenge against Crews, and Joe ended up
Apollo took the challenge against...
Yeah, well, Joe took his threw his gum at Titus during the match, and got the easy win over Apollo by hitting him with... I think I can't remember what the finish was. He didn't do the muscle buster. Oh, yeah, he did the Coquina clutch. Yeah. And then Titus wanted to get some because he threw gum at him. God. And Joe was like, look, I don't want none. And then Titus goes to check on Apollo. And then Coquina clutch from behind, knocks him out. And then he's just like, I don't want to see Titus O'Neil versus Samoa Joe.
I don't want to see Titus O'Neil versus anybody.
He's much better as a manager.
Yeah, I agree.
And I feel like right now is the point, since Joe is officially back, get him up to the title picture. Make sure one, you have him like on the Raw team, so that way I feel like you can make sure that people know he's back and know he can do good stuff, because that's the match that everyone's going to be looking at for Raw versus SmackDown.
Didn't Braun injure Samoa Joe? Because if Braun injured Samoa Joe and they just turned Braun babyface...
Yeah, I don't remember exactly how...
That's a WrestleMania feud.
For sure. I don't remember for sure.
I think it was. I think that was how it happened. I don't think it was on purpose.
I don't remember. I don't remember how he got injured. All I know is that he's back.
I don't think anyone remembers, so you could very much just blame Braun.
You could just easily say, Braun, you hurt me. Or like he just decides, like, I'm going to go after you. Yeah. But then we had Alexa Bliss, who was trying to do some persuading to Kurt about, listen, we're both captains now, so let's cut the dead weight. We should get rid of Mickie James. We could replace her from anyone from the Mae Young Classic, or we could just dig Mae Young up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, which I was like...
I love Alexa Bliss.
Which I was just like, ooh, okay, you're teetering on the edge of, like, that's a little too much.
That's not much at all. That was wonderful.
It was teetering on it, but I was like, you know what? That's still good, because she still killed it. So then... Kurt makes it so it's a Raw Women's title as well as an IC title match tonight, and it's against Mickie. So we got Mickie versus Alexa again, which, I mean, just kind of out of nowhere, but like, I mean, it was a title match, so I was just kind of like, okay.
And it was the main event, so that's really cool.
So then right after that, we had The Miz versus his mystery opponent, which turned out to be Matt Hardy.
Brother Nero.
He's just like, wonderful.
Wonderful.
Oh my God, the delete chance went on for maybe a full minute.
So bad.
I do too. I mean, like, and the crazy thing too was like, they were like, Matt hasn't won an IC championship before, so they were building like this could be his first championship. But he basically had the entirety of offense until the Miz managed to he got hit with the twist of fate, and then he rolled under the bottom rope, and then just right from behind skull crushing finale and got the win.
No.
Matt looked great, and then Miz like just scurries away with his title. I feel like it was a good match.
Do you think Matt's gonna be on the Survivor Series team?
I don't know. I really don't know.
He's just not gonna do anything.
I hope they at least put him on there because I feel like without Jeff there, like there's no reason.
Who else
there's nothing else
gonna,
he can do.
Who
Yeah.
else are you gonna put on it? I mean, Jason Jordan's gonna be on it.
Uh-huh.
If Jason Jordan isn't on Team Raw, that makes no kayfabe sense because
Exactly.
Kurt Angle's his dad.
I
want to
wrestle with my son.
So then you figure, Samoa Joe's gonna be on it. Braun's on it. I mean, Matt's on it. I feel like Roman's gonna take that last spot.
I think so too.
But I mean, because you have to have the Shield on the card, so
Well,
maybe
it's
Matt
either-
won't be on it.
Yeah, because Seth and Dean are doing the tag match against the Usos, so
Yeah.
obviously Roman would go there.
Yeah.
Thing is, if he still has meningitis.
I feel like within it's been 3 weeks. I feel like maybe 1 or 2 more weeks and he'll be fine. I mean, like
that's what they said.
They managed to put him in the Shield triple threat at Battleground when he was out for suspension for violating the wellness policy.
Yeah.
So they managed to build him into it without him even being there.
I'm just trying to think of the people who aren't going to be on the teams, what they should do. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, because
Like,
I mean,
Pre-show match.
I guess you could throw him into a random pre-show match.
Because remember, it's 6 hours.
because we need it 6
Yeah,
hours.
exactly. How the hell are you gonna do 6 hours with a Survivor Series like pay-per-view?
I don't know.
I don't know how.
I
you
think
can do
Survivor Series in general is a concept that should be retired. But
Yeah.
that's just I think Money in the Bank has more draw to it as a big four.
Well, I mean, NXT is bringing back War Games, which everyone thought was dead in the ground.
Right, but that's not a yearly pay-per-view that has
Exactly.
a very outdated concept of a 5-on-5 elimination match.
And for some reason, the main roster is bringing back Starrcade.
Yeah, it's weird why we're so once
They're
again
going
back in the
back to
past.
WCW.
I think Starrcade already happened.
Did it already happen?
I know it was a house show.
Yeah, I know it was a
They
house
weren't
show.
gonna
I didn't
air.
know for sure.
It might not have. I could be wrong. I think it did though.
I'll have to look that up for sure. But
I thought it was going to be a pay-per-view.
after the IC Championship match, we had Kurt Angle who was backstage once again talking to some rando. Like I swear, like every time they cut to Kurt Angle,
He's texting
or
always.
like
He's like
on
a
his phone with
teenage
someone.
girl.
Listen, he's a busy man. He's got to
guess
get those
so.
hot free agents to Raw.
So Kurt freaks out, like calls on his walkie-talkie that he has apparently.
Red
Like,
alert!
They're here. Daniel Bryan shows up. And he tries to be like, look, I didn't know what Shane was gonna do. Like I was left in the dark just as much as you were. Kurt's on massive I don't trust anybody. So he's like, listen, like I'm bringing my gold medals to the Raw roster, and we're gonna take out Shane McMahon. So he leaves Daniel Bryan in his office, and then
This segment was horrible.
Daniel's just
Can
like,
I mention this part? Daniel's on his phone, but you can obviously
well, first
see.
off, yeah, the lights went out, and then
And
Kurt, he's once again still on his phone.
He's on his phone.
But it's like you can
showing
see the phone dial.
keypad.
You can see the phone dial because first of all, when you call someone, like it's not just a pure white screen to keep your face on. So everyone's like, you're not talking to anyone. Daniel Bryan's just lost his mind.
And then all of our hearts break right
Yep,
here.
Then Kane grabs Daniel Bryan from the darkness and choke slams him.
A Hell No reunion.
Yeah, there you go. No, that's what I was saying. Dr. Ashley was his name.
Something like that, yeah.
He's
Dr.
like,
something.
he's like, I got this, guys. Don't worry, I'll solve this. He's just coming out from the back like, I can fix this. I've done this before.
I made him friends once. I'll do it again.
Exactly. Dr. Shelby.
That's
was
it,
Shelby.
Dr.
Yeah.
Shelby.
So then after that, we had an impromptu match between Finn Balor and Cesaro. Neither man got an entrance, so it was just kind of like, okay, well, we got this match out of nowhere.
They got to put those commercials in there somewhere.
But Finn Balor ends up getting the win. He got a double stomp to the back of the neck of Cesaro, which I thought was a nice way to get the win. Granted, I guess you could call it a coup de grace to the back of the neck, but like it wasn't like the legit finisher. But then Kane comes out to get Finn Balor again, and he tombstone pile drivers him on the stage, heads out to the ring and starts. I feel like he was about to cut a promo, but then the Shield heads out, and it's Seth Rollins versus Kane.
Well, that was a match that was advertised to happen. So I think that was just like their segue into the match.
Okay. Well, anyway, so Seth Rollins does like 2 suicide dives onto Kane, one of which he nearly breaks his freaking neck. He like
Terrifying.
literally landed on his shoulder and his neck, and I was just like, crap. And then Kane goes over Seth Rollins. So there you go. Yet another internet darling is defeated
Listen,
by the Big Red Machine.
You know, I'm okay with these people losing to Kane because it's the same reason I said Bray should squash people. Like, they aren't gonna, like, I'm not gonna be like, man, Seth Rollins and Finn Balor sure are ass. Like, they can't even beat Kane.
Well, that's the thing is like the internet fans in the IWC is just like, you've buried them because you've
Yeah, I
had
don't-
them lose to Kane.
I don't think so. I think Kane is a legend, and it's just like The Undertaker beating people, in my opinion. Like,
I think it's just the fact that people don't take Kane as seriously as they do the Undertaker.
Well, it's
And I-
because he. Well, first of all, he was a lot like Big Show, where he just kept turning face heel, And
Well,
then
and
he
then
would
corporate and then
corporate
non-
and
I
then
love
non-
Corporate Kane. You
Oh
all
my
stop your
God.
blasphemous words.
You
I love Corporate Kane.
I bet you voted for him in his elections.
I
didn't you?
would have if I lived there.
Yeah, you
if
would have
I
voted
lived
for
in
Glenn.
Tennessee, I want Corporate Glenn.
Oh my God.
I wish Kane would have came back and that would have been his gimmick.
Why?
Presidential Kane.
Why?
Mayor Kane.
Dude, I'm like, I don't know how you can save yourself from that. It's like he wrestles in dress slacks.
That's awesome.
No, it's
And
not.
he just looks like an old grandpa.
I'm Corporate Kane.
I do not like Corporate Kane. Just put the mask on.
I'm
him
the
and, like,
monster
make him
in
be
a
the demon.
suit.
Yeah, like the real monster is corporations.
Yeah.
Like Vince would ever go through with a storyline like that. But anyway, he tries to attack Seth after the match, but Dean comes to try to save him. Dirty deeds to Kane, and then Kane, full Undertaker, wakes up, and then Sheamus and Cesaro, who also ended up showing up, join in on beating up Dean Ambrose. Tombstone Pile Driver to Dean, Tombstone Pile Driver to Seth Rollins, and then we cut back to Daniel Bryan, who's being carried out on a stretcher. So this show was definitely like heavily based on like a lot of promos. At least what I saw on Hulu was what I was because I just got home like Monday night, so I couldn't watch it live on TV.
You watched more than I did.
Exactly. So I watched all of it on Hulu. So
You didn't mention the Trick or Street fight.
exactly. Well, I mean, like there's a good reason why I didn't
We
mention
only
that.
cover the important stuff here on the
Go ahead.
podcast.
Go ahead.
I mean, I barely paid attention to it. I mean, the only thing that I thought was pretty funny was the club was dressed as Chad Too Bad and Tex Ferguson.
That was funny.
Heath and Rhino were dressed up as Santa Claus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because why not? And Heath and Rhino went over, but I barely watched the match because I was just like, I hate
How the hell are
this
you gonna
gimmick
bury
match.
Chad Too Bad and Tex Ferguson?
Are Gallows and Anderson going to get released like the other guys that got released this weekend?
I don't know. I
Like-
mean, it could, yeah, because we got Emma was released. We had
Summer
Rae
Rae
was
and
released, and
Darren
Darren
Young.
Young.
Like, I don't know. If I was the club, I'd get the hell out.
Bob Backlund is the worst
Manager.
manager you could possibly have in someone.
I heard that they weren't going to be done and that they were going to be doing more releases, but that could have just been a rumor.
I feel like with them already releasing 3 guys, I feel like that's not going to be not going to be the end of it.
Meltzer said more was coming. So
Oh, I'd imagine.
I
yeah.
usually take Meltzer's word as law, unless he's trashing Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
And then I feud with him.
and
Oh,
then
yeah.
he when he had that Twitter feud with Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just like I can't imagine that like. Well, I mean, granted, the tag team division still is like so bare for both shows that it's just like unless you bring someone up to replace them, it's just gonna be like they're floundering. Like maybe they could bring up Heavy Machinery, maybe.
I think the
from
Authors of
NXT.
Pain would
Or,
go up
yeah,
before.
Authors of Pain, would probably go up.
I mean, I heard today they're doing Sanity versus Authors of Pain for the NXT tag titles. So.
I feel like Sandy would end up beting Authors of Pain, and that would give them the chance to go up to the main roster.
And then maybe they show up on Survivor Series because Survivor Series is the show for debuts.
I feel like that would be a good place for them to show up, and if they're getting rid of the club, which I mean, like at this point, like I feel like Gallows and Anderson are being so misused by the
Yes.
WWE. I mean, this is the 3rd time Gallows has
I
been
think
misused.
it's almost criminal.
It is.
how-
It's absolutely a crying shame the fact that you've taken these guys and especially Gallows, like the fact that this is his 3rd time coming back to WWE, first Festus, then SCS that you guys didn't get behind, and now this. It's just like, come on. I mean, unless you manage to put them together with Finn or AJ, like I can't see them like doing anything else.
See, I think Carl Anderson is the bigger like travesty because like Carl Anderson could be a main event guy that you build your company around.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I love Carl Anderson. So, but yeah, I mean, they probably won't get released. And to be honest, you're working for WWE, so even if you're a jobber in WWE, I mean, you're more successful than most.
Exactly.
But God, if I don't know, I just want them to do well.
You want? I
Like-
mean, like it's just kind of. It's like you look at their stuff they did in New Japan. You look how like dangerous and like legitimately badass they were, and then you see what they're doing on Monday Night Raw, and you're just kind of like, what the hell are we doing here?
They're
It's like,
they are like when they do like the Chad Too Bad and the
Tex Ferguson.
Yeah, and Tex Ferguson. That is all like off the cuff improv.
Yeah.
They could be your top babyface tag team doing just these awesome, just hilarious promos.
Yeah.
And they just need to just let them do their thing.
They do.
And instead now they're just doing nerd.
I mean, that's a start, but like once you do that, it's just kind of like, yeah, we'll go into it. But Anyway, getting back on Raw, we had The Miz and the Miztourage who came into their locker room.
Bo Dallas came back.
Yeah, Bo Dallas is back, so he's back. And then he looks down at his floor and finds a garbage bag just sitting on the floor.
Dun dun dun.
It's like, is Braun Strowman back? They're freaking out, and then Miz goes to find Kane. Kane's he's like, look, like, thank you, like, you did awesome, like, taking out Baron Corbin. I'm like, if I don't remember, I think it was like all 4 of us took out Braun Strowman, and it's just like, I said Baron Corbin. I just realized.
That's okay. We knew what you meant.
But yeah, he's just like, no, you did most of the work, and then he's like, I'm glad that we have this good team up, and he's like, team, you're on your own. And then they do it to the bar as well, and he's like, you're on your own, fella. And it's just like Miz is trying to constantly be like, finding someone.
We're leaving now.
He's like, listen, we're getting out of here. I am terrified for my life. They even mentioned Stranger Things again. He's like, I don't want that Demogorgon freak coming up at me. I'm like,
I didn't get that one.
Again, that's the name of the monster from Stranger Things. The fact that you don't watch it just makes my head hurt.
The 3 of us got the reference.
Oh yeah, we all got the reference, and we got the references that soon came on SmackDown with Stranger Things. So
and then like Miz had like his luggage, and they were ready to leave, and Kurt Angle's like, "Where are you going?"
It's like, you show up late and now you want to leave early. You're staying for the whole show, and he's like, "You don't understand. There's a man trying to kill me." So he forces them back in. So they're like, "Listen, once this match is over, we're gone." So we had Alexa Bliss and Mickie James versus for the Raw Women's Championship.
This part annoyed me. I was watching it, and halfway through, I started hearing a CM Punk chant, and it was a loud one. Like, it went on for maybe a full 2 minutes.
I wouldn't say a full 2 minutes.
It went
10
on
seconds.
for a long time.
Not only that, but Champ came out first. Alexa came out first, which, why do you keep doing that?
Well, because people like Alexa, even though she's a heel.
But, yeah, so Alexa Bliss ended up going over, and granted, it wasn't their strongest match, and it felt like they were a lot more slowed down and like trying to do some like technical work in the ring, and the fans just weren't having it. CM Punk chant, like you said, and Alexa goes over, and like you kind of expect it with that kind of stuff like that. But then what really bothered me was that like as Alexa was celebrating winning the championship, they cut to Miz and the Miztourage leaving, like just like let's go. Then cut back to her in the ring.
And
still
then
celebrating.
and then
cut back to the Miz and the Miztourage getting in their limo.
That's weird.
And they're like,
so they're like, let's go, driver.
go.
And then they just stop. There's a garbage truck blocking their way.
Can I just say one thing? Somehow the garbage truck changed from white to red. Let's just not question it.
It's a separate garbage truck.
Obviously.
It's covered in Braun Strowman's blood.
Braun jumped into a second
red
garbage
now.
truck to get back. So he comes up, and then the garbage truck like dumps him out. And he's still alive, and he just stands looking at them.
No, it was the best part. He raised up. Like, he was out of frame, and then he raised up. And I'm like, ah!
And he just slowly looks up, and he just looks down at him, and like,
whoa! And then like the whole crowd roar with him too.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, like also we had no explanation of who locked, because like they were trying to get out as they saw the garbage truck was moving down, and we're like, unlock the door. Why is the door locked? And I'm like, first of all, how are there no locks inside that car? And how have neither of you figured out how to do that? Second of all, why the hell did they lock? Who locked you inside of the car?
The driver.
Like, did Braun Strowman manage to steal the keys from the driver without you noticing? I'm assuming that's what he did. So he comes out, they jump out of the limo as it's automatically unlocked somehow, or Bo found the lock. And then Braun runs across the limo and just jumps over and like starts chasing him back.
Like he was just like
It was like he was Super Mario. It was unbelievable. So once again,
I loved it.
Alexa was still down in the ring celebrating with her title.
Yeah, they cut back to her.
And
They
then
should have had him pick up a garbage truck.
she was just celebrating for
and
like
then,
10 minutes straight.
And then Bo Dallas just comes flying out of Gorilla, and it's just
no,
like
it was Miz and then Curtis Axel and then Bo Dallas just
Bo's
goes,
just like whoop, right from behind Gorilla, and then Braun comes out. I think Alexa just peeled out after that point. Throws Miz into an LED board. All 3 of them got thrown down the stage. Hit a running power bomb to Curtis Axel. One more time chance. He does it again. Another one more time chance. He does it again, and then he does a 4th one, and then table chance. Braun Strowman carries Curtis Axel back to the announce table that he originally tore up, and then just running power slam through the announce table. Curtis Axel is killed. He's basically dead.
Isn't that the second time he's been killed? First time he was killed by the Shield.
Well, the first time he was hung up upside down by the Shield. I don't know if that didn't necessarily kill him as much as it did embarrass him. And
all
also
the blood is rushing to the Axeman's head.
Exactly. But yeah, that was Raw in a sense. It was really
Seems
really,
like most of it was skippable except for the last like 15 minutes.
basically, yeah. I mean, like, it was kind of just weird how they were throwing together these matches just to build up other storylines.
Well, and that's why I don't like Survivor Series, because the entire story is Raw versus SmackDown.
I mean, that's what we
But
kept
yet
hearing.
you can't build on those because they're separate brands. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
You can't-
So you have to like take people who are involved in a different story and interloop them with this story, and it's just
Somehow.
weird.
Unless you do the Under Siege thing, which granted they did, but that was only one night.
Exactly.
And it's just the fact that, like, it's just a weird concept for a pay-per-view, and especially it's basically morphed into, like, ever since last year, it morphed into bragging rights.
I don't mind the concept of Raw versus SmackDown, but just make the 5-on-5 tag team match the only part that's Raw versus SmackDown, and then you can still have these storylines.
I agree.
That aren't about Raw versus SmackDown. We can get championship matches.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
can get stories.
That's what upsets me about Survivor Series is the fact that we're getting one championship match, and it's the cruiserweights, and nobody cares about that.
Hey, I
because
care about the cruiserweights.
Yeah.
He's a certified G and a bona fide stud.
I liked Enzo for a while. I hate him now.
Oh, I love Enzo now.
And Kalisto, I just find him boring. He can't even time his lucha thing right because he doesn't know his music.
I just hope that Kalisto beats Sin Cara beats Baron, and then we can.
He went in. That was another thing. I don't think. Did you? Oh,
I
wait.
did see that, yes.
saw that
the
part?
fact that Sin Cara once again faced off against Baron Corbin on SmackDown Live, and Corbin was basically doing the basic heel thing you do against a luchador. I'm going to take off his mask because I'm an a-hole. So, yeah, and then...
I'm gonna make him call me daddy.
Yep, exactly. And then Sin Cara got, like, legitimately pissed off and just punched him in the face, and the match got no contested. And,
Again.
well, I mean, no.
No,
First
last
one
week
was a
didn't go-
count-out win by Sin Cara. Second one was a DQ win for Sin Cara. This one was a no contest.
I thought last week was a no contest.
It was a DQ.
Okay.
It was a DQ because he kept beating him up in the
A
corner.
sudden love for Sin Cara. That's what you get when you re-sign a contract.
It's the
Like,
land of opportunity.
Well, like, I don't know. He signed their contract, and I guess they want to re-push him as, like, a big, like, Mexican lucha hero.
they
and,
just
like,
want their Rey Mysterio back. That's the thing.
Yeah,
They want a Rey Mysterio.
I would
so
not be
badly.
surprised if after Survivor Series we get, like, a quick roll-up out of nowhere, and we get at least a week of Sin Cara as a U.S. champion.
Yeah, I could see that. But Shane McMahon at the beginning of the SmackDown ended up coming out like being like, "Listen, SmackDown's always been considered the B show. We're gonna make sure that SmackDown actually pulls their weight. I'm the team captain for SmackDown Live." So we get Shane versus Kurt as the team captains for Survivor Series. I kind of expected this. I mean, I didn't really see what else they could possibly do. Like, you have one general manager as the team captain. Now you have your commissioner on SmackDown being the team champion. I was just like, what if it's Daniel? What if it's Daniel? And then Kane gets chokeslams him, and I was just like, damn it!
I wish they would have made it so Kurt Angle became the captain on his own authority. Like, I wish Stephanie didn't do it. I wish he would have been like, you know what? I will. Like, I wish he would have come out and been like, you know, my roster may be broken. My roster may be under siege, but I'm gonna kick your ass, Shane.
Yeah,
like, I
it's
wish he would have done that.
Well, that's what happens when Stephanie comes back. And
Right.
When Stephanie, it's like it's always about her. That's
And
always.
just make the general manager look like a complete idiot.
Have we not
like,
learned anything
oh
from?
man, Kurt's sad.
Have we
because
not learned anything from
Well,
Mick Foley?
her-
The
boss.
second I heard Stephanie came back, I knew exactly what was happening, and I was like, oh no. But anyway,
Yeah.
SmackDown.
Yeah, but yeah, for SmackDown, then we opened up with the Bobby Roode versus Dolph Ziggler 2 out of 3 falls match.
I completely forgot it was 2 out of 3 falls. I heard it. Dolph Ziggler gets the first fall, and I was like, oh, I guess he won. Then I was like, oh right, 2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah, but Dolph got a nice super kick out of nowhere to pick up the first fall. Then during the commercial break, Dolph was slingshotted into the corner, and Bobby rolled him up for the second fall. And then Bobby ends up getting the glorious DDT after they trade roll-ups again like their previous matches. And he gets the win. And
Did he grab the tights?
no, he didn't.
No.
No,
A clean
but
pin?
It was a
Alright.
clean pin. Yeah.
Storytelling.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
Ziggler
tried to grab the
was
tights,
trying to do
yeah,
heel.
but other than that, he just picked him up and hit the glorious DDT, and then that was it.
Peace, Dolph.
But then he had a little promo about him being, because now he's on Team SmackDown for winning the match. He cut out. He's like, I hope that the 3 other team members for SmackDown Live show the same compassion, passion, and competitiveness. I think you meant to say competitiveness, but you accidentally mixed up competitiveness and passion.
Compassion,
So I'm like,
passion,
I
and
want my
competitive.
team to show compassion. Like, what does that even mean?
I want
You're a
them to-
wrestler.
And passion.
I want them to show passion. I want them to be so
I want them to weep at the sight of SmackDown.
Little did we know, Bobby Roode as a heel would slowly. Bobby Roode as a babyface would slowly morph into Bailey. Let's show compassion, guys.
I want everyone hugging.
Exactly. He's just a compassionate guy.
Give
what
me
can
the
we say?
inflatable arm waving tube, man.
Yeah, exactly. Bobby, just be heel, please.
Give
Can
it
we
time.
stop?
He'll be healed by a Royal
He'll be
Rumble.
heel after Survivor Series.
I'd imagine.
After he wins the Rumble, he'll be heel.
I'd imagine, yeah.
You think he's winning the Rumble?
No, I wish he would.
And then we cut backstage to where we had the New Day coming down dressed up. Kofi was Brother Love, Xavier was Jimmy Hart, and Big E was Akeem the African Dream.
That's really, I saw that on Instagram.
I was like, wow, okay. Well, like,
Wasn't
Kofi had like red makeup, like making himself look extremely red.
Wasn't Xavier Jimmy Hart last year too?
No, last year they went as the
last year
three faces of The Godfather.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And so then
We're such marks for knowing that. We know what New Day went as for Halloween.
we know
2
what
years
New
in a
Day's
row.
Halloween costumes were. So then Rusev and Aiden English show up once again, like, you guys are celebrating a silly holiday like Halloween. The only holiday you should be celebrating is Rusev Day. So then, first off, they offer Rusev candy, and he just pulls it and drops it.
Drops it and steps on it, and Big E
and
gets...
then Big
what a
E's,
hit.
did this sucker just pour out my candy?
He kept saying sucker.
Yeah, and then even to the point where Rusev said sucker. I was just like, okay. And then we had another segment where it was the women backstage, the women SmackDown team. Becky was getting them fired up, and they did their tea party clinking as their like little handshake sort of thing.
I was glad about that.
And Ellsworth was dressed up as a dog.
Oh, it was.
And even barked at Becky.
And then
she's like, I knew you'd probably say that, and starts spraying him with a water
release
bottle.
And then Carmella...
Yeah, can we release
James Ellsworth?
And then Carmella was like, sit, good boy. It's like...
Yeah.
God.
And then Natalya comes out laughing at the team. Is like, settle your tea kettle. Your tea kettle. I completely messed up my words.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I love what she said.
I said perimeter earlier, so...
So she's trying to start some stuff with the team. Like, who could possibly be your weakest link? And it's like, then Becky, like, as Natalya's leaving, sprays her spray bottle. Yeah, it's Tamina. Let's be honest with ourselves.
She kept saying Charlotte and Naomi, but it's obvious.
I think the weakest link is your women's champion, but that's just me.
I agree.
There you go. Throw some shade. But one other thing I wanted to mention too about Sin Cara versus Baron Corbin, which was after this, was Sin Cara threw one of the announce chairs at Corbin, which caused him to run away.
I am the chair.
He's like, exactly. And then
I didn't see that part.
Yeah, he threw the chair at him, and then Corbin ran back and through the crowd.
There's your competitive monster running away at a luchador throwing a chair at him.
There's your United States champion.
I'm gonna make that chair call me daddy.
Yep. Oh my God, we're just gonna get that out of you for like 2 weeks
the
now.
rest of this, every podcast is gonna have me being like, I'm gonna call you daddy.
And then when Survivor Series comes along, and then Miz actually does call Baron Corbin daddy, you're gonna just be like,
I'm just gonna come back here
Why?
and rant.
Yep, exactly. So then we had the Usos who were talking about how they were going to face the Shield, and then Gable and Shelton announced that they get a title shot next week on SmackDown. And again, Gable tried to rap, and I was just like,
Can I say the part that annoyed me the most?
What?
After they finished the rap, Shelton did the face from
from the meme.
and I was just like, oh my God.
One of the things.
Well, I mean, like the thing about Gable though is that he's kind of corny. He's supposed to be kind of like. Remember, he put his name on a towel. That's the thing that we got to remember about Chad Gable. It's like he's an amazing wrestler, but like in NXT, he's like ready, willing, Gable,
Well, if there's one
and
thing
that just
I know,
managed to go over.
There's one thing I know about those people named Chad. They're very full of themselves. Like, I have a towel that says my name on the back of it too.
Do
like,
ya?
Yeah,
Do
I do.
you?
I dry myself with it every day.
Of course.
Yeah.
And then we had Samir Singh take on AJ Styles, the other Singh
Oh,
bro.
this was a fast match.
I mean, of course, it was like 30 seconds.
I know, but I
then
think it was faster than last week's.
Jinder Mahal called himself the Beastmaster.
I'm the beast daddy.
I wanted
He
to...
called himself
Oh
the
my
like, let's put
He's
that
like,
on a shirt.
He's like, I'm gonna defeat Brock Lesnar, and then everyone will know me as the Beastmaster. And I'm just like,
Here's the
Why?
hierarchy. Here's the hierarchy. The Beast Slayer, the King Slayer, Beastmaster.
Then the daddy slayer.
Yeah, then the Daddy Slayer. It's just like, Jinder, you're so trash. And of course he goes, now I will speak to my people in the language of Punjabi. And it's just like, yay, he's speaking a separate language. Like, I don't care.
And then
So Jinder ends up attacking AJ after the match, and Jinder attacks AJ, and then they beat him up and stuff like that. There was a nice spot at least where they had his back like going against the turnbuckle and the ring post, and he's just stretching it back. But again, it's just like
cool, though.
It was cool, but I still hate Jinder.
I know it was different though.
It was something at least. But then again, you had a Singh brother trying to help you beat up AJ Styles.
I think they're gonna have Jinder beat Brock.
I
think this feud is so one-sided that I don't know. At first I thought no way.
If Jinder beats Brock, I may break my TV.
I might break my teeth.
Like seriously, well, first of all, the fact that he's beaten both of the Singh brothers means that AJ is going to get a title shot from Jinder. So I'm on all my knees, just praying to God that
it ends up being AJ versus Brock instead.
Well, I mean, think about that.
Not even that, because even if it's still Jinder versus Brock, if afterwards they had another rematch of AJ versus Jinder and then he won, then we could look forward to maybe Shinsuke versus AJ for the belt,
and then
at WrestleMania.
Then our happy marks can be happy.
It'd be nice if Survivor Series, they have the 5-on-5 match, and then they have Brock versus Jinder, and Brock kills Jinder, walks down the ramp, and then AJ says, well, I just talked to Shane McMahon, and he's giving me the title match, and then runs down there and then just pins him real quick, and the show ends with the title.
Yeah, there you go.
I'd be happy with that. That was my great AJ Styles impression. I hope you enjoyed it.
I did.
I think it sounds more like Jim Cornette.
It does. It really does.
I think that WWE doesn't like to send people home happy because I mean they like to send people home happy, but I remember when we were at SummerSlam and we saw Shinsuke get pinned clean.
No, he didn't get not at SummerSlam. No, the next pay-per-view was clean. This was the one where the Singh brothers interfered, and he just hit him once with his finisher.
Hit him once and then beat him, and we were like, you have to do everything in your power on this main event to make us happy, because people were outraged.
Yeah, but then the Fatal 4-Way saved it. So
yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's just we need to stop with this Jinder stuff.
Yes.
Honestly, people are gonna care a lot more about your pay-per-view if you have AJ versus Brock. I don't even care if Brock beats AJ.
I think Ellsworth versus Brock, I'd care more about. At least I wouldn't be worried about who's going over.
I mean, Austin did mention that he wanted Ellsworth as champion instead of Jinder.
I said that as a joke. Let's be honest. I don't think anybody wants Ellsworth as a champion.
But wasn't the SmackDown main event? Wasn't it Kevin Owens versus Shinsuke?
It was, but before that we had Big E versus Rusev.
I would have known that if I watched it.
Exactly. English distracted the team by singing Rusev Day, and then Woods comes up with Francesca, starts playing Francesca, hits him, knocks him down, and then Big E hits Aiden English, but then right behind him, Rusev shows up and gets the win and gets him from behind.
Yeah.
So next week we announced too that Rusev will be facing AJ Styles for a spot to be on the SmackDown team. Also, we had another Bludgeon Brothers promo before this.
My boys, the Bludgeon Brothers.
Let's be honest, these guys, their biggest rivals right now are just cameras that happen to be on the floor. It's just it's listen, all of our cameras have been destroyed by the Bludgeon Brothers.
Did they say something?
It's we buried our cameras, but we can't find them because they're all broken.
Did they say something generic like, pain.
Yep.
Is an odyssey.
Suffering.
Suffering.
Yep.
And then
just,
bam.
Yep, just basic trash. But
then Stranger
Earth things. They just had all of the posters of the possible people that could be who have stolen the briefcase and stuff like that and done all this bad stuff to them.
Nothing funny.
Surrounded by Christmas lights. And then he's you can see Fandango, who's dressed up as a sheriff, feeding Eggos down to this to 11 down underneath this little thing, and then Tyler Breeze shows up as 11. He's like, "Wait, if you're 11, who am I feeding the Eggos to?" And he looks down there, and he's like, "It's another 11?" And then it's Ty Dillinger. No, it's just 10.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
I would have popped for that.
Victor was dressed up as Barb and was just like, I love Barb. Barb sucked. I'm like,
you're Barb.
Don't you badmouth Barb. She died for our sins.
And they were just like, oh, of course you're Barb.
And it's just coming up from the pool drain. And then they're like, under siege, it's Kane. And then it's Connor. And he's like, no, this is my Halloween costume. What the hell?
He's like, Breeze,
I told you guys about this.
No, he said, Breeze, I told you. And he's like, yeah, I knew.
Yeah, I knew. But then the lights start cutting off, and then the Christmas lights start flickering, and then it just one of the lights flash up, and it's the Bludgeon Brothers, and they're like, it's the Bludgeon Brothers, and then just they get attacked from the darkness.
Oh man, Bludgeon Brothers debuting.
Exactly.
Can't believe I missed that.
Yeah, you missed that.
I'll have to go home and watch it again.
They didn't show the Bludgeon Brothers in there, but they just showed
they
just showed the pictures surrounded by the Christmas lights.
Who could have predicted that was going to happen?
Exactly. But then then the final match, everyone, and then the main event was Kevin Owens versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the right to be on Team SmackDown. Sami Zayn came and tried to interfere, which I thought was cool because then we got to see Sami kind of talk trash to Shinsuke, who was his first match in WWE.
Well, that was before Sammy went up to the main roster.
Yeah, that was
Sammy's it was his last NXT match.
I remember that was my first NXT match after a long break.
After a long break. I was going to say in
break.
general. I was like, man, what a great first.
That's one of my favorite matches of all time. So Sammy tries to Sammy distracts a little bit. Shinsuke tries to get the pin, but Kevin gets pulled out by Sammy. And then Randy Orton comes out and from behind, because Kevin's like, get the table, like get the announce table, and Sammy throws the announce table and actually hits a fan in the eye with the top of
I saw that. He hit a fan with the table.
Yeah, he hit a fan
I
with the table.
the table.
Exactly. I was just like,
I am the top of the announce table.
And to the left. Back and to the left.
And you can just see the guy, he's like, yeah, oh.
If I got hit in the face with a
Honestly,
table, I would have marked out.
Even when Randy came out, he still was trying to get into it, but he was just like,
oh my eye. But yeah, wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly if this guy's gonna sue, but everyone's just like, sue him, get free tickets.
I would ask for free tickets.
Yeah, I would have been like, listen, as long as you give me a free ticket, like
I wouldn't even have I would be like, I want free tickets or I'm suing. No, all right, I'm not really gonna sue. Yeah. I just wanted free tickets.
Yeah, exactly. But,
I have a great story to tell.
Randy slams Sammy on the table. Owens is distracted, and Shinsuke Nakamura, excuse me, hits Kevin Owens with the Kinshasa and gets the win. And and he is now on Team SmackDown.
So what do we think Owens and Zayn are gonna do if they're not gonna be in the match?
Doing something.
They have to be the finish, right?
You can't leave them off the show.
They have to be the finish.
I think I
can imagine that Shane McMahon would be one of the last people left, and then Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn just beat him up, and then let Raw take the win.
I think I know what's gonna happen. I think it's gonna end up being another thing like, oh no, 2 of our members of Rock SmackDown are beaten up, and for some reason they're just on the ground. What do? We don't have people to replace them. And then Sammy and Kevin come out and they're like, we're here, we can take their place, and then they lose because they didn't have those other 2 people.
Or they win, and then we get to hear Sammy and Kevin be like, the only reason we won was because of us.
And they end up getting Shane eliminated, and they still win the whole thing for SmackDown.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
That would be awesome.
Well, so if we see, I guess it's one of those things where if we see like, Ty Dillinger and like Sin Cara as 2 members of SmackDown,
you can imagine that
those are going to be the ones that, the Fashion Police are the last 2 members of SmackDown. Oh, look at this, the Hype Bros. Oh, man.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Mojo Rawley.
Yeah, Mojo Rawley was placed on the team for no reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, it was a
Did
really...
Did they say how they're going to figure out the last 2 members?
Well, we know we have Rusev and AJ.
Yeah, Rusev versus AJ next week.
If Rusev wins, it's probably
with Raw, we've only determined right now Braun Strowman and Kurt Angle. That's all we've determined with Raw.
Both teams, like SmackDown has like almost the entire team on both sides filled.
Yeah, exactly. They've already got at least the basic idea of who's going to be on the team. So Raw's only got Braun and Kurt set up right now.
You got to imagine one's probably going to be Enzo. Let's see, Bob Backlund, the carcass of Betty White,
and Emma.
and Emma.
Yeah.
Leo Rush. We'll have Leo Rush on it too.
Let's talk about that right now because we got Leo Rush who went on Twitter saying, "Let's be honest, that's what happens when you go up against when you try to face Asuka," and he got burned.
Didn't he say like that's what happens when you're not ready?
When you're not ready for Asuka. Yeah, when you're not ready. Yeah, because nobody's ready for Asuka. I get what he was trying to do, but dude. Like it was literally the same day.
I think it was within the hour.
It was within the hour, and I'm like, dude, that is so unprofessional. It's ridiculous.
I was torn because I love Leo Rush, and I was like, oh man, I can't wait for Leo Rush to get called up, and then that happens, and I'm like, oh, you're an asshole.
Exactly. He's stuck now down there. He's in the doghouse for a very long time.
He's gonna be NXT jobber for at least the rest of this year.
For punishment, for sure. Yeah. I mean, dude, I don't understand what was going through his head. Like, oh, okay, I'm gonna build up the fact that Asuka's amazing, but at the same time, dude.
He wasn't even a heel. Like, if you were gonna make it, like, if he was if Kevin Owens did that, I guess you could make a reason. But Kevin Owens wouldn't do that. But you know what I mean? Like, if you were a heel, I guess that would make sense. But as a babyface and as a guy who was as one of the exciting new NXT free agents, I don't know. I think he really cost himself a good opportunity.
Yeah,
there.
he bit off more than he could chew with that one.
What ended up out of all the wrestling this week, what made me really upset is Sasha Banks is my favorite wrestler, female wrestler, and I was very disappointed that we didn't see her, and I don't know why, because she needs to be on that Survivor Series team, and so far it looks like, this is your captain speaking.
Oh, yeah,
my God, I wanted to
My
die.
girl Alicia Fox.
Yeah.
I love my girl Alicia.
She had a captain's cap
I saw
on.
the captain's hat.
She had this is your captain speaking.
I love
and
it.
Nia Jax was her first.
I love it. Who also returned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nia Jax also.
That's
returned.
kind of crazy, the fact that SmackDown Live's already basically got their whole women's team sorted out while Raw is still trying to figure out like who's going to be on the team.
Listen, Captain Fox will lead us. Lead the red brand to the promised land.
Yeah.
I hate Alicia
Let's just
Fox.
get Drew Gulak, who went as Sasha Banks for Halloween. Let's just put him on the
I
women's
hate
team.
Alicia
Well,
Fox.
Sasha Banks went as Sami Zayn.
There you go.
So there you go.
I hate
I mean,
Alicia Fox.
Sasha will be on the team. Like,
Well,
let's be
guaranteed,
honest.
yeah,
Like,
but like,
but
I don't
yeah,
know.
I can see why you would be frustrated if she wasn't on the card.
I hate Alicia Fox.
She's just a
Alicia
massive
Fox.
hatred.
My girl.
I love Sasha Banks, and the fact that she's been beaten twice now by Alicia
By
Fox.
the greatest women's wrestler on Raw.
Oh my
I know.
God.
Thank you.
She'll be fine.
Let's have her and Corporate Kane
She's
be
gonna-
team
Oh
captains.
my God.
She'll be fine. This is the point where Cindy just leaves the podcast right now.
This is the part where I just say things I don't actually believe just to upset people.
There you go.
Sounds
That's how we
like
bring
it.
our guests on. It's just like we completely swerve them. Like, listen, we're not hardcore fans. We're just dirty marks.
Yeah. I love Corporate.
I love booing the
I'm a shill.
I boo the faces and cheer the heels.
But yeah, Raw and SmackDown, pretty much just filler episodes.
Yeah, it was really like just filler. I mean, like when you have so much time in between a pay-per-view like this, it's just like they're trying to slowly build it, when normally they're so used to doing it like 2 weeks before pay-per-view, where they just hot shot these feuds out of nowhere. But now they're actually now they have to legitimately try to build some of these feuds, which are happening on separate shows.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like we're floundering in terms of like trying to build these feuds. Granted, The Miz and Baron Corbin with this whole Twitter feud is decent, but you need to show like the fans who don't go on Twitter that often and don't follow the superstars on Twitter to know what's happening.
I have a feeling they're going to make like a video package having that in it, because I remember they did a video package once, and I don't remember what match it was, but I remember they had some sort of Twitter video up there.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't remember exactly what the match was.
I just feel like at that point, like, you want to make sure you build the best possible feud you can. And if you were to have like someone like the Miz and Baron Corbin, like on one via satellite, one in the ring, and then you had them going at each other, I feel like that would be a good way to get some heat and stuff like that, and to get some legitimate like back and forth, like build up this match. Because when you're only just doing it on the comfort of your show and have like one person say something on Raw and then one person says something on the next night on SmackDown, like what they're doing with Brock and Jinder, where like Brock and Paul Heyman come out, Paul says something, and then Jinder comes out the next night and says something, and there's like no legitimate like conflict. They're just talking trash at the person instead of just being like face to face or like face to via satellite. It's just like we're not getting legitimate like heat out of these storylines because they're on separate shows. So I'm kind of nervous in terms of a couple of them. More specifically, Natalya versus Alexa Bliss and Brock versus Jinder, if that's what they're legitimately doing.
It'll definitely be something we'll have to keep watching Raw and SmackDown for.
No kidding.
But that is going to do it for Ringmasters this week. Make sure you tune in and watch Bound for Glory Sunday, because TNA's a thing.
Yeah,
and,
you guys remember TNA? Because I don't. I don't remember it
I
at
don't
all.
either.
Leave the memories alone. We will see you guys next. Oh, by the way, Sydney, thanks for coming on.
How
Thank
dare
you
you
for
cut her
having
off?
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I just knew we were like pressed on time.
No,
so.
yeah. So yeah, thanks Sydney once again for joining me
Thanks
and
for
Chad
having me.
here.
Absolutely.
It was a ton of fun to have her on here. I'm sure we'll probably see her eventually
Oh,
again. Yeah, because I'm
she
sure
could be
she'll-
a judge for a hot takeoff.
Yeah, there you go. That's the point where she just completely sees us just try to kill each other.
Yeah.
So yeah. You can follow her on Twitter at SAZoomer4 while I am at SZoomer4. See how that can be confusing.
And I am at Chad100. That's much easier to follow.
That's much easier to follow, yes. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time.